Okay, we are done with everyone now. Now let's see who's next. Oh yes, the Atlantic that never was. Well then, let's go. Henry, what we would do without him. Well, what's exactly my take on him? Well, it's about to get a bit vanilla, but I'm still making him a Black 5, because I feel like that's too iconic for him. Yeah, they're good at touching bases for him, but I don't know, Black 5 just seems to work fine. But I am going to change his character a little bit. Not like what the CGI series made, of course, but enough to make him distinct. Look, my main issue with Railway Series Henry is that he feels a bit more like a not so arrogant Gordon, or at least just a grouchy GI. The TV series kinda made him a bit more fleshed out. Yes, he's still grumpy, yes, he's still stuffy, but he has a softer side to him, you know? And maybe making him a nature lover makes him more unique. Besides, there's not many hobbies an engine could take, given that they kinda like certain things. But yeah, I feel like making Henry a bit more distinct from Gordon could work for him, in a way. However, how about we start with his origins, in T23-VERSE canon at least. Henry will be built in 1920 by a pair of undisclosed builders in an undisclosed workshop. He will be built based around very specific designs that were stolen from the builders, in an effort to create the ultimate British Pacific. But they didn't account for the firebox, creating a design that, although would be powerful, had a firebox too undersized to power it, and as such, made Henry quite the mediocre steamer. After a failed trial with the Great Central Railway, the builders decided to give the building to the Northwestern, lying to the controller by saying it was an Atlantic. But after they found out, he kinda had a few choice words for them. The rest of his story happens the same as in the books. Got locked up but rather the reality was because he was tricked by a certain engine we will talk about later. Got a few breakdowns here and there, but he still get back. By getting in a new patch of Welsh gold, it would actually help his issues. Until crashing into a train but eventually, and thanks to the freak with the fact right to ELS and a few of those friendships he had, he managed to convince them to rebuild Henry from a failed prototype into a black hole. And to this day, he hasn't had any issues that he couldn't handle. The worst he had was the overhaul in the 80s, but he got over it. So, with all that being said, my take on Henry takes more inspiration from the TV series. Yes, he does tend to be stuffy and grumpy at times, but deep down, he's a gentle soul, and well, more than willing to do his job whenever he can. But one of his best traits is, well, his stubbornness. It has brought him a few trouble over the years, but other times it makes him determined, willing to do his work no matter how hard it is, no matter how much it breaks him. He's a determined engine, dead set on anything he's going to give. And well, he gets the job done alright, even if he has to make a bit of a scene for it. But hey, he wouldn't like it any other way because, well, Henry's an enterprising engine. And, well, you can't get many of those around, you know? And that, my friends, is my take on NWR number 3, Henry Sinclair. And yes, I kinda gave him a big old scar into it. But anyways, I hope you like my take on Henry. And if you have any takes yourself, well, you can list them here in the comments. I hope you have a nice day, evening, or whatever you're seeing this video. And as always, I'm signing off.